Hey y'all,
Hey y'all.
What's up? This is El Presidente.
this is
You
your boy, gospel icon, my Harold Peoples Jr.
It's Lady, also known as Leah, and you're now watching.
And you're listening to Speaking Plain
in
English.
the speaking plain English with your host Roberta.
Your beautiful hostess, Roberta Johnson.
With my homegirl, Roberta, on Praise.fm.
On Praise FM.
On Praise FM.
Hey, hello, happy Saturday, and welcome to another episode of Speaking Plain English. I am your host, Roberta, and as you can see, I have a guest today. Hi. We've got my son Jeremiah, who is actually he is a returning guest because if some of you have seen some of the previous episodes from before, you saw that he, along with my daughter and my goddaughter, their god sister, Alana, actually took a chance to they had a chance to be on with us as well. So he's going to be here with us for the day, and he's very excited. So before we get started, as usual, I'm going to first of all thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank the say welcome. I'm sorry, welcome to my to the YouTube audience. Welcome to Praise FM. Welcome to Facebook. Welcome to Instagram. Welcome to the audio only listeners, which are Google, Stitcher, or Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Music, all of y'all, all of you guys. Welcome to all of you who are listening. And I'm trying to keep him in, but all of those who are listening audibly only, um, if you're here, those who are actually watching live, I ask that you do the media stuff again, and that's the liking and the subscribing and the sharing and all of those great and wonderful things. Um, as I usually say, you never know who it is that is watching that is going to be interested in what it is that we're talking about today, who may need the information and all that great stuff. So let's get into some announcements before we get into our topic. First announcement I would like to make as no, the first announcement I'm going to do something different. So the first announcement that I would like to make is I don't know if everybody, well, if those of you who have been, who kind of keep up with my page, my Facebook and Instagram, I had posted a that Christian Community Deliverance Center, which is the church that I attend, that my father pastors. Um, he we are having us we're taking a trip to Sight and Sound um in August, right? In August. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of the youth that are willing, that want to attend are able to attend. So we want to make sure that we're raising money pretty much to purchase so that their tickets as well as their seats on the bus can be purchased without having to have parents come out of pockets. Um, for the kids' tickets, at least, for the kids' tickets, we're going to handle our own, and so and these tickets they've increased on everything. Everything has increased all over everywhere. So what we've been doing, what we did from Monday to Thursday, the fundraiser ended on actually midnight Friday. We had what's called a Double Good popcorn fundraiser. And as that, first of all, thank you for those who contributed to that. Thank you. Though that is over with, there is still time to make your donations. And if you do, I'm going to give y'all. I want y'all to talk. To let me know. Like, put a comment. Comment and let me know that you are interested in donating, and we'll get the cash app so that you're able to do that. All right. So that's that one announcement. I'm trying to think if there's any other announcements other than our usual. Hmm? Not yet. We're gonna get into that in a minute. Hey, Lady Rain. Another announcement that I want to make is that, as usual, those who are Black-owned, Black authors, Black business owners, and Black artists, as you know, that's part of what Speaking Plain English is about. And actually, that's what my company, DOYH Marketing, is about. I'm looking for you. So if you have a book, if you have some music out, if you have a business that you own, and you would like to, if you'd like to promote us on, if you'd like to promote us on, to promote it, I'll put it like on Speaking Plain English, then hit me up. Hit me up, and then what we'll do is you can place an ad or do a commercial for you if you do need one done. If you have a commercial or an ad already made, that's great. We'll run it for you, and we'll talk about that. If you need one done, that can be created for you as well. So, in addition to that, or if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you have a topic that you would like to discuss as well, if you look at my show from last week, I went over a few things of what we need. And part of that was, I'm looking for experts in certain areas. I didn't say which, but I will. I'm not even sure how I would do that without asking, but we'll get to it. All right. So that's that. If you have a product, or if you have some music, or if you have something that, or an event or something that you would like to promote on the show as well, I want you to reach out to us as well so that we can get that for you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you have, if you want to shout somebody out for anything, if there is a, just like a birthday or an anniversary, or just to shout somebody out, if they started a business and you wanted to shout them out, or just to shout somebody out, just to make them feel good, just to let them know that they're, somebody's thinking about them. Contact me as well, and we can get that done for you, and we'll make it nice. All right. Also, speaking of, oh, hold on. Before I go into that part, I do want to announce that there is going to be Praise Fest happening in New Orleans on May 25th. And guys, I didn't want to announce this yet, but she already put it out there. So this is what we're going to do. So independent artists and independent gospel and inspirational artists, I'm looking for you guys. I'm looking for you. We're putting together a Praise Fest in New York, and that is going to be, we're not 100% sure of what date. I'm looking towards the end of the year or sometime next year, but we're really looking towards the end of, not the end, but like later this year. So I want you guys to, send your submissions. I want you guys to, or you can just, make your announcement and let me know, hey, I'm an artist and I would like to participate. So we want to hear you. We want to, it's going to be an artist showcase, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So that's just putting the bug in you guys' ear. More details to come, and I'm looking forward to it. All right. So one more thing that we're going to do is make the announcements. As far as the announcements go, is to announce the Earth Entry anniversaries for this week. And I have two. On the 18th, my cousin Sheena, her Earth Entry anniversary was then. So happy Earth Entry anniversary to you, Sheena. And then yesterday was my cousin Alnisa's birthday, Earth Entry anniversary. So happy Earth Entry anniversary to Alnisa. All right. So that's our announcements for today. So as I mentioned Where are you? There we go. As I mentioned, so our topic for today is no more settling. And I have Jeremiah here with me. One, because he wanted to. He keeps asking, Mommy, can I come on with you? So boom, we got him on today. And I honestly think that today is a good, it's a good time to it's a good day to have him on, because one thing that I want to instill in people, and I would love for them to learn this as early as possible, that what you don't want to do, something that is very, very vitally important, is that we understand that there are, it's good for us to have certain standards when it comes to everything. It's good for us to have when I say a standard, I mean it's like a boundary, and this is, what I'll accept and what I won't accept. And I want to be able to instill that into, at this age. My son is, how old are you? 8 years old. Matter of fact, I normally do bios for guests, and I didn't do a bio for Jeremiah. So before we get into the topic, Jeremiah, I want you to tell us a little bit about you, tell the audience about yourself.
Okay. So yeah, I'm 8 years old. Yeah, my name's Jeremiah. I'm 8 years old. I like music and drums and games, stuff like that. Yeah, I also play drums at church too, and also I also do play a lot of instruments too.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's actually, I'm telling you, this one's a little prodigy. So all he needs is some time, Oh, and he's also one of the ones is that all you want to say?
I don't know. Oh, but yeah. I'll also make some music. I'm with my mom and siblings too, and also hmm,
You ready?
I don't.
So you mentioned that you are a musician. What instruments do you play now, and what instruments would you like to play?
The instruments I already play: organ, drums, piano, guitar, and that's it. And the instrument I like to play: saxophone, electric guitar, and I think
That's it? Okay. So I'm glad that I asked him about that, and the things that he starting to play, and the what he is fully into, what he does fully, as far as playing. He does drums, like he's mentioned that he plays drums at church, and he is practicing. He's going to be he practices as well. He As far as, like, he plays, actually he does play keys as well. He's learning how to play the keys. He's teaching himself pretty much how to play the keys. So he kind of hears, he reminds me a lot of my little brother James. Um Youngest brother, because he's not little anymore. He's a whole grown man. But he reminds me of my younger brother James, who pretty much can just, pick up by ear how to play. So he's learning as well. The more that he touches it, the more that he puts his hands on it. And this is the same for guitar. Like he's just learning, like he picks it up and he figures out the notes and everything, and just by figuring it out. And he also says that he wants to, in addition to that, he also wants to play the guitar. I mean, not guitar, you said that already, the saxophone. And on top of that, which he forgot to mention, is that he is also starting in, getting into acting as well.
yeah.
Yes, he and my daughter are going to have their debut at a show next month, and I'm very, very excited about that. So
Yeah, it's hard work because I like a lot of stuff to do. I do school. No homework. Yeah, technically homework.
Well, you do reading for homework,
No, I do spelling,
spelling.
and I have to do. I have to practice my line. I have to memorize my lines too. So it's a lot of work.
Hmm. And that's one thing that I've also been teaching them, that whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to do it, if you want to be good at it, that it's going to take what?
Practice.
Practice. And how much practice?
What?
A lot of practice. Daily, every day. Yep. Come on, Silence's son. God's blessings. Yes. This boy, both of them, honestly. But this one, he wants to do more. Actually, I can't even say that. And he's not on only, not just that either. I forgot to also mention that, like I said, the intro that we did, he's also done part of that. He has songs and things that he's actually creating himself on the DAW that we have. On Logic Pro. Yep, that's what we use. That's the DAW. That's the DAW, our DAW of choice.
I'm earning money. Same, kind of. I don't do anymore, but yeah.
So he's got lots of stuff that he's got going on.
I make flyers and stuff like that. Get money.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a tech. What I like to say is Jeremiah came out of the womb with the remote in his hand, because this boy has been a techie since, I feel like he's been a techie since birth. And something else that he's actually been working on that I want to get him back into is coding and creating games. Hey, Cherise.
I want to do that.
You said you don't want to do that?
I do.
Creating games? Yeah, because he loves video games. Loves video games, of course. Like, who doesn't at this age? But well, I can't say that because not everybody does. But he does love games. And so one thing that I want to start getting him into more consistent basis is actually coding and learning how to create games. And part of the topic that I have for today, talking about not settling, is that I want him to be able to know, and not just him, but those who are watching, to be able to know that all the stuff that he wants to do, if he puts in the work, and sets a certain goal, that he can actually do it. And I understand where like we, as our generation, we were taught that you go to school, you go to school, you do your school, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a good state, city, or a good job or whatever. Maybe go, if you didn't want to go to college, go to the military or go to some vocational school, and do all of that, and then you get a good job. I found out it's a great plan, and it's what a lot of people like to do. However, one thing that a lot of us have, or a lot of people have left out of that equation, is learning how to stick with what it is that you enjoy, what you've been put on this earth for. There is a book that I read. It's actually it's a 2-part from what I believe. I want to say there may be a 3rd part, but there is a book by a author, Robert Kiyosaki, called Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you have not ever heard of that book, go read that book, that one. And then the sequel is the Cash Flow Quadrant. And stay forward. What's so great about that book, of those books, is it pretty much teaches you don't necessarily have to, success doesn't necessarily come in that traditional way. Success can come in entrepreneurship, if that's what you're made for. But at the end of the day, what I am learning, and it took me a while to understand, is what the best thing to do is to do something that you thoroughly enjoy. When it comes to careers, and that we're just talking right now, this particular point is about careers. So Jeremiah, tell me something that you want to do. What do you want to be when you grow up? Something that, that's something that you want to do now.
Making games and play saxophone.
Making games and play saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? What I would say to Jeremiah about that is, especially at the age of 8, what it takes to do that, he can actually do that. He can actually make a career out of doing that. When I tell you technology, like, there is so much money in technology. There is so much money in technology now, and in like the digital world. So him learning how these computers and systems work, yeah, we probably when we learn how these computer systems and everything works, that's where the money's be. That's where the money is. That's where it's always going to be. Because at the end of the day, even though they have these things where they're having all of these, they're have everything is AI and all of, they're starting to have these machines and these, the robots to take jobs. They're still going to need human beings to actually know how to program and how to operate and, fix these things. So him wanting to be a software creator, a game developer, that's just where it starts. That's just where it starts because in order for you to learn that, you have to learn coding. And once you learn coding, there's a whole world of things that he can do. And he also says he wants to, have a career playing saxophone. That can also be done, and it always takes what? And hard work. That's right. Hard work. Lady Rain says, yes, have those career conversations when they are young. Great job, Mom. Thank you. I'm telling you, like what I'm learning that if we start early when it comes to, learning, helping the kids learn that they don't have to settle because what I thought was do whatever you can to make the most money you can. And I'm going to tell you something biblically that kind of showed me that that's not necessarily what it is. And I could be wrong, but this is what I got out of it. So I was I was reading Genesis, and I was reading about the story of Cain and Abel. Do you remember the story of Cain and Abel?
Cain and Abel?
Mm-hmm.
No.
The story of Cain and Abel where one of them killed their brother.
Oh yes.
So what happened with that? You remember?
Oh yeah, his brother got his brother got jealous of him. He killed his brother, and then God sent him to a mountain and see him until he dies.
So slow down. Why? So Cain was the one that, I'll put it like this. Cain was the one who was Abel. Abel was the one who actually I believe he was like a hunter, and he was the one, like he was kind of more like a shepherd, but he had that was his gift. His gift was he was able to raise cattle and things such as that. Abel, that was Abel. Cain, he was a farmer, so he was the one who actually was good with with crops and things like that, right? So the thing that happened with Cain and Abel is that when Abel presented his gift to God, he presented his first fruits and he presented the best to God to offer as an offering. Cain didn't. Cain actually pretty much gave God the scraps. And he did things kind of like in a lazy way. He didn't give God his best. And I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. He didn't give God his best. And so one thing that I read, I might have to go back to it, but one thing that I read was that God was saying that something along the lines was the problem that he had with Abel's gift or with Cain's gift is that he didn't do his best, and not doing his best can cause him to sin. So I thought about that for a while, and I'm like, how is that possible? How is it possible for not doing your best to cause you to sin? And I thought about it. If you are if you're trying to always take the easy route, and if you're used to not doing your best and not giving your best and not putting your best foot forward, that can lead into a lifestyle of doing whatever it is that it takes to get money. And if you don't have integrity, if you're not like, okay, I'm going to do my absolute best, I'm going to give my absolute best, I'm going to do the work that it takes to do the work that it takes to do my best and get the best results. That's how people end up being thieves. That's how people end up going into fields of jobs and fields that they just really don't want to be at, just for the sake of the money, and aren't trying to take shortcuts and things. And in other words, you're willing to do less when you're not used to putting your best foot forward and when you're used to settling. So, Jeremiah, tell me something. What do you think would happen if, and this is why I talk to them all the time about it. What do you think happens if you get used to doing things, if you get used to not doing your best? Like if you're used to doing things in a lazy way.
You won't get get stuff.
You won't get, say that again?
Like get that stuff.
You won't get good with things. Or you won't be able to have your best foot forward. You won't be able to, what's the word? You won't be able to, you can't present your best. You start getting lazy and you're not willing to, like I said, put the work in and do the work that it takes to actually do your best. So you just do anything, give anything. And when that's your lifestyle, when you're used to that, when you're used to just giving anything just to get by, then you'll never have anything of quality. And Grandma's here. Hey, Mom. So she says the enemy loves a compromiser. Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you know what it means to compromise?
No.
Okay. So to compromise, sorry, y'all. To compromise, it's a twofold thing. To compromise means that you are willing to give up something, or to lower your standard in order for there to be, for both parties per se, to have, for example, we both want ice cream, right? But we can only get one flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
What flavor do you want?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? I want strawberry. But we can only get one. So in order for both of us to be able, for the most part, only one of us in this case can get what they want. So if I'm saying I'm not budging, either we get strawberry or nothing, then what would you, if you said that you were like, okay, fine, I'll get strawberry, then you're compromising. In other words, you are settling for what somebody else wants, just because you're like, A, you want to keep the peace, or B, because I want ice cream, so I really, really want chocolate. But if I can't have chocolate, fine. If we can only get one flavor, and we're not, she's not going to budge, then fine. I guess I'll have strawberry. And having the strawberry ice cream, are you happy with that?
Yes.
No, honestly, like if you really, really wanted the chocolate ice cream.
Not really, but that's fun.
Now that's called, that would be compromising. And in other words, it's also called settling, because you can find a way to get that chocolate ice cream. Just because, huh? Which you can find out. So in other words, in this case, in this, like that's an example of settling, like wanting to where's my brains? Wanting to kind of like do whatever, not necessarily sticking to your guns. I'll put it like that. Not always sticking to your guns, and always going along with whatever else, just to keep the peace. Some people say and instead of standing your ground on things, and instead of not accepting certain things, and instead of just sticking to your guns. Instead of just sticking to your guns. Come back. Instead of sticking to your guns, that's called that would be called settling. And we're not about to do that anymore. Before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
This is the golden mic that everybody loves.
Let's go. Sorry.
I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore you.
Ready and I'm ready. Yeah.
Come over here.
I'm here. You.
Everybody went on mic.
All right, and we are back. We're back. So we are here. I'm here with Jeremiah, and we are here talking about settling and how we are now no longer, we are refusing, I'll put like it, to settle from here on out. There's a song that I heard, and I think I may have mentioned it in another episode, that has been has been ringing. I guess they say living in my head rent free for a while. Called it's called No, and it's by Grandma Says Hi Jeremiah.
Hi.
By her name is Shamaya. I believe her name is Shamaya Crawford, and this song, like the more I listen to it, the more that I'm like, girl, this is one of those. It's a song that's pretty much saying that, you know, we're not settling anymore. There's a part that says, I'm not settling, you know, I can't remember the lyrics verbatim, but she's saying like there's no more settling for a job or a person or anything, you know, in my life that's not for me. And in a nutshell, what she is saying is that anything that, and there's another part that says, if my yes causes me to lose sleep, if my yes causes me to, you know, to stress out, then it's not for me. It's not, you know what I mean? And sometimes people do things and settle for certain things because it's what they're used to, and because we're comfortable with it, and it's familiar or it's easy. You know what I mean? It's the easy, but it's like, for example, like what I was mentioning before about taking jobs and things like that. And that's another area that I'm like, I've come to terms with, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to anything that's not in the field that that I am skilled in, and not just skilled, but that I am passionate about. I don't care how much it pays. I'm not doing it. And that shows me, and that shows not just myself, but that shows my children as well, that you don't have to settle. What you don't have to do is you don't have to put yourself in a position to where this is all you can do. This is all you have to do. If you start early enough in working towards your passion, and that's why, again, that's what I want them to learn now. If they start early enough, especially to work towards your passion and to work towards what you really, really enjoy, you can, as you get older, you can really find that that'll be your moneymaker. And that's what God did. You know, that's why he put us on earth. That's why he gave us the gifts and the talents and things that he gave us, so that we can actually put those gifts and those talents to work, so that we can live off of those things. Do you kind of understand what I mean, Jeremiah?
No.
No? Okay. So think about, there are so what did you say that you wanted to do again?
Coding and playing. I'm saxophone.
Okay, so that's what you want to do to make money?
Yes.
Is that something that you enjoy?
Yes.
Okay, so coding and creating video games is something that if he's that's something that he enjoys doing, and he's great at it. Once he starts to do it, once he gets into it, he's great at it. And that means that he'll put in the time to learn and the time to work on it at this age, at age 8. And as he continues to work on it, as he continues to do everything that that all the gifts and the things that God has put in him to do, he can actually start using that to make money. And that could either be he can start, create games of his own and start selling his own game, making his own games and selling his own games, or he can work for a company doing exactly what it is that, you know what I mean? Because again, not everybody is built for entrepreneurship, but there are some that are. And if that's something that he desires to do, he can absolutely do that. But it's best for him to know and see and understand. And as far as if they're young, it's best for us as parents to be able to kind of lead them and guide them and cultivate their gifts and cultivate their talents, so that we can show them and lead them, and guide them into a way for them to understand, like, good, look, if you put the work in, you can actually make a career out of this. How do you think athletes and artists and movie stars and all of these people, actors and actresses, and all of these people, I mean, in all of these other fields, who are and even game developers, and even now, like, they have all these other sports and things, people have to have had the opportunity to make their money and make good money, you know what I mean, and make really, really good money doing what they love. Hey, cuz Aaliyah says even people who make games, absolutely. Like, what game? I don't even have to say it, but I am. What game do you absolutely love, Jeremiah? Sonic. When was Sonic made?
1990.
Nin-
Not 1990.
when was Sonic made?
1990.
1990, right?
I think.
It was 1990 or 1991?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I don't know. I think because the first Sonic game was like the driving Sonic game.
Yes.
Not Sonic Racing, but like.
No. The Sonic 1.
Oh yeah. The 1990.
1991, right? Okay. That game was not just created, but it was brought forth in 1991. I played that game when I was little. I played that game. Mario. What else did you like? What other games?
Mario, Spider-Man, and Tetris.
Think about it. Tetris, Spider-Man, Pac-Man. I don't think I played Spider-Man, but Sonic, Mario Brothers, Street Fighter, like all of these games, Mortal Kombat, the Atari games, like the Galaxy, what was it? Something Galaxy, where they had like a little thing where you just go like this, back and forth, and just shooting out little tents, killing little aliens. Like all of these games and things.
Asteroid? No, that's not Asteroids. No.
Galactica?
Galaga?
Galaga, something like that?
No, I forgot the name.
I forgot the name of it.
It's like Galaga, but that's not Atari.
Galactica? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's Galactica. I think it's called Galactica. One of those. But all of these, like, Donkey Kong and like all of these video games and things, somebody actually created that, and that was back then. We're in 2024, and kids are learning about these games now, and now they have they've actually brought them back. So anything that has anything to do with Sonic the Hedgehog or any of these other games from back then, they're still relevant and they're still making money off of it today. So that's my point is, my point is, before I read what Aaliyah says, my point is, if you start early and whatever it is that you have a passion to do, whatever it is that you have, and the thing is, not even just the developers of the game, the music and stuff, there's so many different areas, things and that are involved in just those things. Like, I even say to this day, the music of Sonic the Hedgehog is so dope. So there are musicians that actually had to create that. For
Sega's even making new games right now.
Say that again.
So Sega's even making new games right now.
And Sega's making new games now.
And I think he's making a game where Sonic and Shadow.
Say that again.
I think they're making a game that has Sonic and Shadow in it.
That has Sonic and Shadow?
I think.
So there's games, there's movies, because they have more movies coming out. There's shows on Netflix. Like all of those things that started back in 1991, and then some other ones from before then, they're coming back now. So you see what I'm saying? So Aaliyah says, but it's so different now, and that's because people learn to develop it better, right, and in different ways to fit the electronics today. Exactly. It's all being updated. So who would have thought, that some of the stuff that the things that we had access to, not just had access to, but the things that we the things that we were doing and playing back then, who would have thought that at this I would be showing my children, I would be introducing it to my son. And actually he found it on his own. He started with Pac-Man. Like I think that was Tetris. My mom actually used to love Tetris and Dr. Mario.
I'm not. Yeah. I also found a glitch. I also keep getting these glitch.
What do you mean?
That I can literally go through the ghost.
Really?
Well, yeah, without dying.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I just keep doing that. Like one time I was playing it. I got trapped, and then I had no choice. So I went closer to him, but then I went through him, and then I actually won. And also, they also made this game where if you get they also make this thing where when you get closer to a light, when it's so on level 200, I think it's 306, Pac-Man 306 or 206. I think it's 206 or 260. Whatever it's called. They also make this level on those this level where the half of the screen is gone. It's filled with these glitch numbers and stuff like that. And then it goes, and then they also make this other game where Pac-Man. It's the same level. It's the same name of the level that I was just talking about. Just now.
The same level, the same name of the level.
Yes, it's called Pac-Man 260, I think. Mm-hmm. Where I have to keep running and get power-ups and I have to run away from the glitch, because if you get caught in it, then you lose.
And this is in Pac-Man 206?
Yes. And also these people and also these games are basically people are saying that Pac-Man it's that my that game where it's just bird where I had to fly, and this bird where I have to tap thing to make it fly higher. Flappy Bird.
Oh, Flappy Bird.
Yeah, Flappy Bird. They're saying that it's unbeatable. And Pac-Man. But
yeah, that's the one he's talking about.
But this person said that on level 999, you see Mario, and then Mario shoots these fireballs at you, but and then you beat him. Then I don't know what happens, but I never got to it. And Pac-Man, they're saying that I don't remember what level, but they're saying that that they just when you win the game, they'll just restart the whole game.
Oh wow,
it's weird.
It's the whole game restarts after you win. And then you gotta start all over again.
And also, Dig Dug, it's actually really cool.
That's another one.
Cause Dig Dug, you can really start where you I'm sitting up, cause like now when I play it right now on my Pac-Man console, whatever it is, like whenever I die and then
Lose whenever you lose.
Whenever I lose at this high score thing, and then they I put my name in, and then they gave me like a 20 or 10-second timer to restart, and then I can finally go back where I was. It's weird, but it's cool at the same time.
So he's bringing me back. So Dig Dug, oh my goodness, and Burger Time, and oh my Lord, Duck Hunt, and all of those, like all of these things that, remember, like these were games that we used to play when we were younger, and now, hey Ray, now he's learning them at 8 years old. So who's to say? And now the fact that he's learning how to do these things, and he understands that these things actually somebody had to create them, and the fact that he's interested in doing the coding, and learning how to be a game developer. What? The stuff that he can do when he gets older, like imagine him starting now, and then as he gets older and as he gets more, and he increases his expertise, and as he learns and as technology changes, because it's constantly changing, the digital stuff is always changing. So a lot of the stuff that I'm not quite fluent in, they kind of get. Aaliyah said, let me hold $20 when you get rich. Listen. By then, you'll be rich too. Let's claim that. But honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm saying it's so important that we understand and that we teach our kids now not to settle. Like, understand what it is. If this is what you love to do, this is what you enjoy, put your best efforts into that now as you're young. And let's also talk about not just settling when it comes to career, but when it comes to friendships as well. Now, when I say that, I mean and I say that because there are some times, and remember when we're talking about compromising?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes you're going to, run into groups of people, and you're going to be, first of all, let's remember that one thing that I teach the kids is not everybody's going to like you, and you're not going to like everybody. And that's fine. But if you want, what is it what I always tell you guys? No matter who does wrong,
you right.
You do right. So if you are, if you're a person of integrity, which is what is integrity? Slow down.
Doing the right thing even though no one's watching.
Doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So because there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to run into in school, just outside, and developing friendships is a good thing. And it's something that we want. We want for them to be able to have, to build good social skills. However, one thing about having a standard and one thing about learning about not settling is that if you have if and you're solid on this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to move from here, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm not going to do. I don't care who says what, I don't care who tries to talk me into doing what. If it's not comfortable, if I'm not comfortable with it, I ain't doing it. So sometimes people will, she said, yes, settling in friendships it's definitely a good lesson. And even with family too, honestly, because there's in family acquaintances, when you get older, as in business relationships, and other relationships that we're not going to talk about yet because you're not old enough. Not yet. But what?
I really feel like I'm not old enough for anything.
Oh, you're old enough to do a lot of things. You're old enough to do a lot of things. You're like you said, the stuff that you're doing now.
I'm almost nowhere to. I'm old enough to. get my friend's phone number.
You're almost old enough to get your friend's phone number?
I guess.
Not yet. Not yet.
Why?
Because it's not time yet.
I have friends.
Mm-hmm. First, and that's one of the things that we kind of like. I want to teach them, and some of us need to learn as well. When it comes to relationships of any type, whether it's romantic, familial, platonic, business, whatever, it's always great to have standards, and it's always great to start with a standard, because what we understand now is that people will treat you however you allow them to. And one thing that I'm finding out is that it's never too late to get it. It's never too late to get it. Sometimes we want, like I mentioned, we want to do things, we want to compromise with things just to kind of keep the peace, and because we don't want to, rock the boat, we don't want to upset anybody, or we don't want to or it's just like, but it's not that big of a deal. Or sometimes we feel like we especially those of us who are givers, those of us who who are those who kind of feel people's pain, those of us who's like, what, I don't want, because one of the things that I have been doing is like, my thing is like, I have put myself out to help other people, because I know what it's like to not have some of the things that we need, or not be able to, not be able to and not want to ask for it. So I know what that's like. So if at any point in time, and it's even sometimes when, somebody needed, it doesn't even have to be anything tangible. Like sometimes it's just time. Sometimes it's just, conversation. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll be dead sleep. I will be dead sleep. And anytime that phone rang, I'd answer it, because I'll always be afraid that, it could be something and that's an emergency, and somebody may have needed me at that point, right at that point, and I didn't want to disappoint, or I didn't want, and I knew it's like, man, that's sometimes I need to sometimes we put other people before ourselves. Mommy said, and it's good to have borders, absolutely, borders that will not be boundaries. Yes, that will not be crossed. Nalia says, so why you get mad at me when we both do the same thing? Because neither one of us should be. That's why. That's why. It's one of the thing is, the thing is, when it comes to that, and we're almost done, is when it comes to sometimes there are people, and again, I'm not saying that you should never, that you should never, what's the word? Help out, never be there for people and things like that. But understand there has to be a balance. If you are at a point where you cannot do something, one thing that I usually say to people, especially those that I love and those who I genuinely care for, if I can, I will. Point blank, period. If I can't, and I when I say if I can, I will, I genuinely mean that. When it comes to anything, honestly, like if there's exactly, you can't pour from an empty cup, because the only thing that's going to be left is the color. and that's the thing is, if you anything, we're supposed to give out of our overflow. And that's one part that we honestly forget. We forget that we're supposed to, when we do give, we should give out of our overflow, not out of what we, our necessity. And that's the reason why so many people that I know, that's why a lot of people are blessed that I know, because they give, they give and they continue to give and give and give. And then that is, being given in return. But you have to know to make sure that you're giving in good ground, that you're sowing into good ground. So Jeremiah, a lesson that I want you to learn from this is understanding that sometimes when somebody if you want to do something for somebody, are you listening? When you want to do something for somebody, or if I remember when Jeremiah, we were driving somewhere, and it was Liberty that did it. We were driving, we were downtown. I think we were somewhere. No, we were already there. We were actually just about to leave. But I went to go get Liberty's guitar fixed. I went to go get Liberty's guitar fixed. Shout out to Richie. And we stopped at 7-Eleven to get some food, to get something to eat from there. And right by the car, Liberty, I think she got two things. I think Liberty got two items. But right by the car, not too far, but somewhere close to the car, there was a homeless guy that was sitting there or laying there, and Liberty saw him, and she wanted to give him. I think I'm trying to remember if she had two items or if she had no. She only had one. She had one, and she wanted to give it to him. She wanted to give it to to the guy. And I asked her, I'll let her sit, and I let her, she asked me if she could give it to him. And I told her, I said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to sit and we're going to think about it. I said, it was, I think she had a hot dog. I think so. I wasn't sure if it was a hot dog or pizza or something. She had something to eat. And we sat, and I told her, I said, so if you give this to him, what are you going to have? And she was like, I can get something later. He looks like he might be hungry now. And so I'm like, you know what, that's really nice of you. And that's really good of you. So what I did was I went and I took it from her because I was not about to let her walk over there and do it herself. And I told him that this is from my daughter. So I gave it to him, and then I had two items. So I gave her one of mine. So in certain instances like that, the thing is, at that point in time, she knew that would be overflow for her. It's overflow because she knows I still have food when I get home, or I can get something from somewhere else. This guy, he doesn't know where his next meal is coming from. And it's funny because my cousin and I were just talking about something along those lines this morning. But that's how we're blessed. That's how we're blessed, and that's showing, and that's teaching them. Think about what you're about to do before you do it. And I understand that your heart is there, and that that your compassion is there for someone. But at the end of the day, if she did not have anything else to eat, if she was not ever going to have anything else to eat, then I would have been like, okay, so think about it. Because in the event, I wanted to make sure that she's good. It's because she's important as well. And that's one thing that we have to recognize and we have to realize. And I want you to recognize as well. Your feelings are valid, regardless of what they are. Your health is very important. Making sure that you have what you need is important. So even though we may want to take some out of what we need, God is never asking for us to take out of what we need. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and if there ever is an instance where you're led by God to do that, that's because He already knows that He's got something else for you. All right. So I'm going to go to another commercial really quick, and we'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
Are you interested in continuing your education, certificate, or degree that will prepare you in the ministry and equip you in the marketplace? Come make Christ Central University your home. Visit us at www.myccu.online.
All right, and we are back, and we're pretty much done. Jeremiah, first of all, thank you very much for joining me today. And I want you to tell me something, not just me, but I want you to give some encouraging words. Y'all see why I call him my sticky rice, right? right there. Always. Always. But I want you to give the viewer, everybody who's watching, I want you to give them some good advice. Something some good advice.
Like what?
Tell them something that you think that it would be nice for people to hear.
Okay. So basically,
something that can help them out and to help them do, be better.
so if you're having a hard time doing something, just know that I
Slow
believe
down.
in you. And if something's wrong, like you're sad and feel down, I want to know that don't feel sad because somebody's always there to help you out.
Slow down and say it again.
So yeah, if your day's kind of like hard out, then just know that I'm here to believe in you. And if you like feeling something down, like you're sad, just know that I just know that someone's gonna like bring you back up and cheer you up.
Wait, someone might what?
Might come up and cheer you up.
If you're feeling down, Jeremiah said he says though, if you're feeling down, that he believes in you, and that if you're feeling, say it again.
Sad.
If you're feeling sad, then someone will come and cheer you up.
And just don't feel down, cause just cheer up and just I'm telling you that God's in. I'm that God's watching you and stuff like that.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Speaking Plain English. Until next time.
Bye.